Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Talk It Out. I am the Lone Crusader tonight. Unfortunately, my partner, Francesca, is not with me. However, we still love you, Francesca. We still miss you, Francesca. But I do have an amazing, awesome guest.
Hold on. Talk about your partner tonight. Come on.
What do you mean talk about my
Come
partner?
on. I'm replacing Francesca tonight.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Steph.
Okay. Thank you. There you
Steph
go.
is in the background.
There you go.
Our brother podcast, Sessions with Steph, Steph Novani. So we will get to that later because it's not about him.
That's right.
No, he likes to make it about him, but it's not about him.
And I'm excited about our guest today.
Yes, I am totally excited. I can't wait to introduce everybody to our guest tonight. But first, we are on location from Emile Vidmar's Emerge Art Lab. It's in Montreal. It's right next to the beautiful Rose Crème Café Amour. It's an Italian bistro bar cafe at the corner of Gounod and Saint Laurent, and it actually is facing Jarry Park. So you can have your coffee, your dessert, and go to the park. How ideal.
Yep.
So you can also follow Rose at Cream Coffee and Love. So before we actually continue, I just want to say or give a shout out to two brand new sponsors, which I'm very, very proud of as well. Thank you guys so much. Our first sponsor for the evening will be Anthony Caltagirone from Royal LePage Classic. He is a real estate broker for all your real estate needs. Very informative, very professional. You give him a call and he will be able to take you through the steps A to Z in a very, very efficient way. You can reach Anthony at 514-654-4907. I believe he also has a website, www.anthonycaltagirone.ca. So guys, give him a call if you want to sell, if you want to buy, if you want information. He is definitely the go-to. And our second sponsor, thank you so much, DNG Traiteur Catering. They prêt à manger catering. The menus are phenomenal. The food is outstanding, delicious. I would recommend it for all your needs, whether it be party, whether it be a gathering. They're always available to speak to you, to cater to you, to customize your menus, which is amazing. You can reach them at 450-975-2626, www.dgtraiteur.com. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciated. And now we will begin our podcast. I'm very, very excited. I'm sure you guys see him already, but pretend you don't, okay? Because pretend you don't. Just look here.
I'm not here.
And he's not there. He's not there. The
I'm
lady
like a
on the side
child.
is like,
Like a child when they cover their eyes. You can't see me. I mean, I'm gone.
it's dark. Nobody can see me.
Peekaboo.
Oh
Sorry.
my God, that's great. I have the pleasure to introduce to everybody tonight, and I know everybody's watching. I know because everybody does.
The
watch.
entire world. It's like Elvis via satellite in 1973.
It is the greatest pleasure to introduce Mr. Dan Laxer, Montreal writer and broadcaster, writer and co-host of Trivia Show, and the columnist for
The
Suburban.
Reporter, actually.
He is a
Yeah.
reporter. He also co-hosts CJAD, the Trivia Show, and I believe you also do the Sunday afternoon comedy show?
Well, I did up until the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
And then we CJD replaced the comedy show with Health Matters from the MUHC.
Okay, so how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. You had your coffee, you had your S cookie.
This is the best thing that I'm drinking coffee. I don't know what kind of cup this is. It's actually Starbucks, not Pike Place. It's the darker roast.
I think it was the French roast or was the dark roast?
The French roast.
The French
The French dark roast.
Yeah.
The dark French roast.
Yeah.
And before we started, Lisa gave me an S cookie.
Yes, we have to Italianize the situation all the
That's
time
it.
with an Italian cookie somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, because our two people in the background wearing Italia and soccer jerseys.
Yeah, no,
that just doesn't give it away at all. You guys look like the little Smurf couple.
The soccer fans, you know.
So I'm going to just get right down to the questions because I have many of them.
Hang on, I just ate a cookie.
Yeah, I know. Just going to wait until
I hope
you
it's a
swallow.
long question.
It depends.
Okay, fire away.
So, Dan, does writing energize or exhaust you?
Both. Absolutely. Well,
Well, could we extend on that?
It depends what I'm writing. I love to write, and I've spent my entire life writing.
Yeah.
Unlike other writers that I am acquainted with, I did not spend my life publishing.
Okay.
So I have, books, notebooks, binders, drawers, etc., filled with poems and stories that I'd written over the years. Sometimes it's exhausting but again, I'm going to explain because it depends what you're writing. Sometimes it's exhausting because knowing what to write about is for me the biggest challenge. I recently wrote a short story that once I happened on the idea, and the story kind of wrote itself in my head, then sitting down to the computer to do the work was a breeze.
Okay.
Because the story just sort of wrote itself. Editing it afterward was difficult. But when it comes to poetry, they come to me fully formed. I almost never edit a poem. Sometimes I do a little bit, but I wake up in the morning, and if I have an idea, I'll just grab my phone and type it out. I'll either type out an idea, or I say to heck with it, and I just write the whole thing. So sometimes it's energizing, sometimes it's exhausting, but worse than the actual writing is when you send something in, when you submit it to be published, you send it, and then this wave of anxiety hits you and takes over for at least the day.
Oh, really?
You're like, oh my God, I should not have sent that. I hope they don't read it. I hope they send it back. But then when you get an email saying, thank you very much, but your poems don't quite fit what we do, or it's not something we're looking for right now. Whatever the reason is, when they reject you, you are both relieved and really pissed.
What supersedes? Which one is more?
I don't know. It all depends. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I didn't want to be published in that thing anyway. And other times you're like, oh man, I really wanted to be in there. And,
But is it something of an inspirational thing, or you just wake up and say, oh, I'm thinking today about flowers, let's say, or, dogs?
Well, again, it's both. I mean, any writer worth his or her salt isn't going to wait for inspiration. The job is you write.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what you're going to write about, the job is you sit down every day at the page. Okay. Whether you write by hand, or whether you write on a computer, or whether you write on a Smith Corona typewriter. To quote Stephen Pressfield, who wrote a great book called The War of Art.
Yeah.
He wrote the novel, the Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yes, I heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So the book he wrote, The War of Art, is all about creativity.
Okay.
And the line is, put your ass where your heart wants to be.
Ooh.
And that basically means you get up, you have your coffee, you have your shower, you shave, you brush your teeth, you sit down and you write. You do the work.
Okay, so what is it that inspired you to become a writer? Like, why is it writing in terms of, the many different formats as well? Like,
I don't know. That's a really good question, because I've been writing for as long as I can remember. My mom used to say, you love to tell stories, which meant I was a liar. And that's only partially true because I'm a liar. But I don't know. I always, in school, when you're a kid in school, I don't know what it's like to be a kid these days. But when I was a kid back in the Stone Age, that was part of the assignments they gave you. Write a story about squirrels, or
Wow.
what I did on my summer vacation. Everyone's told to write.
Yeah.
Some people leave that behind when they leave school. Others take it with them for the rest of their lives.
And so you sort of developed it. You created a career, let's say, out of it. So that being said...
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I think I got lucky in that a lot of what I do for a living involves the written word.
Yeah.
Whether it's writing commercials, because I also work in the Bell Media copy department, writing the trivia show, writing for the Suburban, sometimes writing promos for the radio stations. Everything I do involves the written word, so I'm fortunate about that. But I'm still, and a lot of my writer friends will get mad at me for saying this, I still don't quite call myself a writer.
Oh, how so?
It's that anxiety of...
you don't want to give yourself props.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But I can imagine you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Steph asked me earlier, you play guitar? And I said, well, I play guitar, but I don't play guitar.
And I'm sure you probably rip it, right? You probably just.
It's gonna come in.
Oh, no. But trust me. Yeah. No, I'm more like a Bob Dylan
All right.
guitar
nice.
player.
Bob Dylan is Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he wrote good songs, but
did.
was he a guitar player? Really?
Okay. We're technical is one thing. Music is technical. Kind of like art, it's technical, but also feel and vibe and poetry. It's all in one. So genius nonetheless.
Yeah.
Whether he played it or not, kind of thing.
Yeah. And to give you an example of what the anxiety that I'm describing is, we're talking about this right now, and in the back of my head I'm thinking, geez, now everybody thinks I'm a writer and a guitar player.
It's a good thing you didn't say harmonica.
I'll cop to that. I love the harmonica. I took it up a few years ago, and if I could spend the day playing harmonica, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
I tried the harmonica and my dog just howls.
Yeah, I understand.
That's because they're trying to cover up that sound.
Yeah,
It's not my fault. I think it's music.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
not all of us were born musicians, Vanny.
Well, it's one of those instruments, kind of like, both my kids played violin when they were small. When you first start playing the violin,
Oh yeah, even professionals it's hard to stay in tune. It's
Yeah.
very hard. I mean,
Yeah.
they do it. Professionals obviously do it, but it's a tough instrument. So at the beginning, it's like,
absolutely.
ouch.
Well, that's what you.
Yeah.
It's not that you're annoying your cat. You sound like you're killing a cat. And similarly with any instrument, but my son did a video of just his face, and in the background, and this is like 4 years ago, in the background you hear me practicing harmonica. The caption is, "My dad's learning to play the harmonica," and it's just my son doing this.
And that video is priceless.
Hey,
Yeah,
why don't you TikTok that, man? That'll go viral.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. So my next question, what are the 3 best qualities of your writing style?
He's like, anxiety,
You wanna-
negative. I'm not a writer.
Go to commercial. Go to commercial. What was the question again?
It's fairly long, okay?
The
What are
three.
the 3 qualities
Describe
as
your
a writer?
Describe the 3 best qualities of your writing styles.
Jeez.
I should have prepped you, but I didn't because I wanted to be like full throttle surprise.
No, I know. Is this in color or black and white? Because I feel like I'm turning red. What are the 3 best qualities? See, now that puts me in an awkward position because I now have to answer the question as if I feel I have best qualities of my writing.
Okay.
How about favorite qualities?
Yes.
Well, I'll say it this way. When I'm writing, I guess I'm always looking for the laugh. No matter what I'm writing, there's because humor is what's kind of informed my entire life. I only got into comedy in my late 40s, but everything I've always been a joker.
Okay.
Whether it's been the class clown or the joker at family gatherings. So if I can insert something funny into a commercial, if I can insert something funny into any piece that I'm writing, whether it's my blog, or you name it, I try to put some form of humor into it.
Okay.
Now you asked for 3 best qualities.
That was one.
Oy.
It's only an hour
How
show.
do we break humor? How do we break humor down 3 times?
Yeah, that's
Right?
it. Let's define humor, shall we?
I don't know how to. I honestly don't know how to answer the question. I guess it's also the necessity of story. Mm-hmm. And again, that comes down to whether it's a comedy routine, a blog post, a commercial, a newspaper article. You're telling a story, and it has to be engaging. Mm-hmm. And if I lose interest while I'm writing whatever it is I'm writing, then I know it's not going to be any good.
Okay.
So yes, you're writing for an audience, and you have to do what you can to make sure the audience doesn't lose interest. If you've lost interest while you're creating, then
Yeah.
you're on the wrong path.
But do you add elements of yourself in terms of being on radio in your writing? Like when you write, do you envision yourself being an entertainer in that piece that allows you to add, let's say, the comedy or a touch of, a tweaking here and there? Because
yes.
I know you have, I wouldn't say multiple personalities, but I mean, in terms.
I kind of do.
But I mean,
you don't want the other one to come out.
But I mean, in terms of being on radio, you have to be a type of personality. You have to be engaging. You have to attract, and it's not just a very.
Thank you very much.
You can't be monotonous. Like, hello, my name is Dan Laxer, and I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So, I mean, there's so many different ways to answer that. For radio and comedy, absolutely, because you are the one who's going to be delivering whatever it is you're delivering, whether it's a comedy routine on stage or whether I'm on the radio with Ken Connors doing the trivia show. Whatever I'm putting together, I'm writing as if I'm going to be saying it, because that's what you're doing when you're writing when you're writing a joke. You're writing it. You want it. You have to write it the way it's going to sound coming out of your own mouth. Yeah. It's interesting to write it for someone else, which I do, when I write commercials. But it depends on the commercial. Okay. If I'm writing a generic commercial and I don't know who's going to be, if it's just going to be an announcer reading it, since it's something I've done, I'll write the commercial, then I read it out loud to see if it's 15 or 30 seconds, but I also will change it depending on the inflection that I've given it. If I'm writing a commercial for a specific announcer, to give you an example, a lot of the commercials we do are what's called traffic tags. Okay. So, they go to traffic at, let's say, the quarter hour, and if it's let's say Elias Mackos, you're listening to the Elias Mackos show. Here's traffic brought to you by XYZ. So I might, if it's 10 seconds, I might, if I'm writing it for Andrew Carter, I might put less words because he reads slower than a blah, blah, blah announcer would. And a blah, blah, blah announcer is one of those announcers who might be something really fast. But he's not in that mode when he's doing his show. He's being Andrew Carter, so I'm writing it as if he's going to be like I know how so I used to do the same thing for Terry DeMonte. I try to think, who's going to be reading this out loud, and how will they make this sound? Wow. Are we off topic?
No, actually, we're on every topic.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that you're saying that, because I guess maybe to be a writer in that sense, especially for radio, you would have to know more or less the person. Like, how would you be able to identify who's reading it if you've never met them? So would that make it easier? Or is it something that you would have to research before you do that particular piece for somebody, let's say? How would you go about doing it?
That's a great question. I'll use the trivia show again as an example. I used to host it with Dave Fisher, and now with Ken Connors, and they're two different guys. When I learned how to write the trivia show properly, there's a 60-second intro that's basically me and Ken, and we're kind of, it's kind of just 60 seconds of silly jokes before we introduce here's what's coming up on the show. So when I first learned to write the trivia show, because it was a learning curve, eventually I had to learn to write Dave's lines specifically for Dave. And now I do the same thing for Ken. Now, initially, before we started working together, I would write a script and go, I don't know if he's going to like this joke. I don't know if he's going to deliver it properly. But eventually I get to know him. The Dan lines are me. Yeah. The Ken lines are written for Ken to say them.
Okay, nice.
That said, if he chooses to say something slightly different or give it his own spin, that's kind of what we do on the radio.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. If you're writing, sometimes you write a script for a commercial. Other times you put point form. Yeah. And the announcer kind of does what you did with your sponsors at the top of the podcast.
Yeah, you ad-lib. You just sort of run with it.
Yeah.
Because I find that, especially, I guess maybe on radio too, because I did a lot of acting. And I guess it comes naturally that when it comes out of your mouth, you just sort of know what you're going to say, even though you're not aware what you're going to say. I don't know how to explain it. But you have that thought, and then you know and understand the topic surrounding that thought, and then you just run with it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it very credible. Because it's not scripted. Like you're not going to sit there and say, well, today this is our sponsor, and no, because you understand that they're doing something, and you understand that they're promoting themselves ourselves. So you sort of mesh into that moment, that thought. And that's gonna lead me into my other question for you.
All right.
Have you ever considered acting?
I've done acting.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at it.
I don't believe that.
I did amateur. I did musical theater a bajillion years ago with Lyric Theater. Back in the day, they were called West Island Lyric Theater, and then they changed their name just to Lyric Theater. And I did a play or two with them, or maybe I just did one play. But I did a lot of musical reviews with them. I don't know if I ever did any straight acting with any other troupes. I can't remember. I've done auditions here and there, but I found those very daunting. Because I couldn't. I would be an okay character actor, but I couldn't be a lead or a supporting character. I'm too uncomfortable in my own skin.
Okay.
So I think that I would.
Oh
no,
my God.
it's true. It's on. I'm being.
That does not come across.
I'm being way more honest than I really planned to be. But I'm not comfortable in my own skin, so I don't know. I mean, actors amaze me. I used to be married to an actor, and I don't know how they get into and inhabit a character to the point where they do indeed become that character.
Yep.
I've always loved seeing professional actors on talk shows because you see who they are in real life and you're like, wow.
Talk about multiple personality.
Well,
there you
absolutely.
go.
Absolutely.
It's a switch.
Yeah.
It's a switch. I wouldn't say that I'm a professional on the level of, the Kate Blanchetts of the world, but it's a switch.
Yeah.
So because I see you adapt that in your radio personality. I see the inflection. I see the character that you bring out, a different personality. So I'm very curious as to why you chose radio instead of acting.
Oh, man. Well, I never thought of being an actor. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not entirely true, is it? Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be... Like, that old song, is it Claude Dubois, Les Blues de Businessman? J'aurais voulu être un artiste, and actor and singer. And I would have wanted to be a rock star, a famous actor, a pie juggling clown. But when I was really young and I was listening to radio, and people find this odd about me, and I guess they're right. I love music, but I never bought a lot of records. I know people have thousands upon thousands of records. I never bought a lot of records. I don't recall learning all the lyrics of every song, although it would drive my dad that I used to know the lyrics to every song. But for me, I listened to the radio, not to records.
Okay.
Partially because of the music, but more because there was this guy inside that box. His voice was coming through. And when I was growing up, it was Ralph Lockwood on CKGM.
Wow.
Ralph Lockwood, oh my God.
My God.
He had a voice. He had the gift of gab that a strong AM DJ needed. He was hysterically funny. You couldn't touch him. And when I was a kid, I actually met him.
Oh, nice.
And I was very small, but I was completely gobsmacked and starstruck. He did a remote broadcast at my dad's sports store at the time. And he was Ralph the Birdman Lockwood.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And he was called the Birdman because he would always say, "How's your bird?" Right? And that was his line on the radio, "How's your bird?" And then because it's Montreal, he would francisize it in the old wazoo. So when I got to my dad's store, my cousin came to me and said, "Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Lockwood. When you say hello to him, say, 'How's your bird?' Can you remember that? 'How's your bird?'" And I went, "Okay." And then he brought me over to Ralph Lockwood, and there was this guy, larger than life. And they said, "Mr. Lockwood, this is my cousin Dan." And he said, "Hi there, Dan." And he shook his hand out. "How you doing?" And I went, "Fine." And he said, "How's your bird?" And I went, "Good."
All froze up.
And that was it. That was it. But that was, for me, it was CKGM until I hit high school. Then I cottoned on to Shome. But it was always, for me, more about the person talking on the radio than it was about the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you would definitely be engaging. I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not a radio listener. I have to be honest.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, CJD, my grandmother loves your station.
I went to high school with Anthony, by the way. DiBiase.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I
All
went to high school together.
And you're both Italian. That's awesome.
That's crazy. Loyola, too.
small
There's
world.
not many Italians there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were one of the we were not many Italian. Well, actually, my grade were quite a few, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
I love CJD. It's
You know what? I was an avid radio listener, I have to be honest, but ever since the iPhones and the Spotify's came out, I've become, comfortable. Like I used to have, yeah. Because I get to choose my music, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't wait for it to come on and say what's recently played or whatever. That always bothered me.
Well, I go through this with my kids, right?
I couldn't.
Like I'll pick my daughter up from work and I have the radio on. I'm listening to Show 'em because I like the music.
Yeah.
And, she's 17 going on 18. So the sarcasm comes out. Oh, great. Here's another one of my favorite commercials. So
But-
she commandeers the radio, plugs in her Spotify.
Yeah.
And I totally get it. I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
But
Although I have to say,
Yeah.
nothing beats when you're in a song, one of your favorite songs comes on the radio and it's unexpected.
Yes.
Nothing beats that feeling.
yeah.
When you put it yourself, it's one thing, and you'll probably listen to it for 2 weeks every day because you like that song.
Yeah.
But when you're somewhere and you're listening to the radio and that certain song comes on,
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I find it's like, okay, stop everything. I need to listen to the song. Even though
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you one thing I don't like about the radio.
Uh-oh.
You turn the channel and you're in the middle of that favorite song and you're like, damn it! I missed the song. Now I have to wait until 4 o'clock because I got again and sing. So
You call the radio station. Now, hi, can you
Dan!
can you rewind that song? And the person answering goes, "What is rewind?"
Yeah.
no, you're like.
Meanwhile, it's all live, right? iHeartRadio. You can just go back and listen to whenever you want.
Yeah.
No, but I remember when you used to call in, you're like, that song with the lyric, how do you do this thing? And they're like, what song would that be? You played it at that time, and you're like, you don't know what the title is, right? So you go and you look it up, and then you just have that one lyric, and then you have like 400 songs. Like, damn it.
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. But
I
don't
know.
worry.
Well, I kind of do.
that's why
I
you
kind
do
of do.
it.
See?
Because when I hear a song on the radio and I don't know what it is, but I want to know what it is,
Yes.
I just type in like 2 or 3 lyrics.
You got it.
And Google goes, "Oh, I know that song. Let me get it for you."
Yeah.
Because that's how Google talks.
How Google talks.
But depending on who the announcer is, I used to work with Tutal before he retired. He was on Show'em. And before Spotify, and when Google still wasn't sure what it was doing, there was a commercial for, it might have been, what's the clothing line that Loblaw sells? George, whatever. And
Joe Buxer's Maxi.
Joe Fresh.
Joe Fresh?
Joe Fresh.
Buxer.
Giorgio Armani.
One of those.
BCBG. Yes.
President's Choice. You like my sweater? It's President's Choice. I found it in the freezer.
It's the no-name brand.
Freezer.
But so I couldn't place. There was a song on one of the commercials, and I loved it. And I would just happen to mention to one of my colleagues, and she went, "Why don't you just ask Tutal?" And I said, "Okay, but how do I ask him? What do I like? I don't even know." So I went to see him in what we call the Jock Lounge, and I said, "Listen, there's a commercial, and I just did this do 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 do," and he goes, "Georgie Fame, somebody stole my thunder." I went, "What?"
See?
Like just that he knew, and I didn't sing it very well, and he knew what I meant. I can do that sometimes.
Okay.
Is it Mitch? Who does the show? There's someone who does that on the radio. Is it Mitch Melnick on the sports radio, where he plays like 10 seconds of a song, or is it? No, it's in the afternoon. It's Aaron Rand. Aaron Rand does that. Yeah, it's Aaron Rand who does that. He plays like 10 seconds of a song, and whoever calls in and gets the song wins.
That's another thing that gets me angry.
so
I'm
fun.
sorry.
What the
Calling in.
The call.
I never get picked up.
Oh yeah.
I never get picked
and that makes you angry.
Yes. it
Let's
does.
talk about that.
Talk about that.
That's it.
Welcome to Let's Talk It Out. This is my guest, Lisa.
That's it.
So where were we?
Now I'm uncomfortable.
Back to questions about Dan.
You're uncomfortable. I have exposed more of myself this evening than,
We didn't tell anybody that you took off your shoes.
I took off my shoes.
That's all right.
Right?
Hey.
I'm barefoot.
Yes. Actually, I have I think a fairly interesting question.
You let me be the judge of that. The pressure's on.
Okay. What is your biggest accomplishment of your career to date?
Oh, my career. Okay. Because if you said, what's your biggest accomplishment, I would have said what every parent says. My kids.
And yeah, of course. But I'm going to...
You are your mom's biggest accomplishment. I'm talking to Sierra, not to Steph.
That's why my kids look at me funny when I answer that question.
But everybody looks at you funny.
The biggest accomplishment of my career, I don't even, honest to goodness, I have no idea how to answer that. Because I have been... CJAD, when I first started at CJAD, it was a private company called Standard Radio, or Standard Broadcasting, owned by the legendary Slate family. Then Astral Media took over, and then Bell took over. If you add up all of that time, I've been working at the radio station for upwards of 27 years. Wow. Or maybe it's 27 years. I've done quite a lot. I don't have the same career as some of my colleagues do behind them. I think that I've been very, very fortunate to have the career that I've had and to continue having the career that I've had. Boss, I hope I still have the career that I've been enjoying. Is this a conflict of interest? So my biggest accomplishment, that I'm still employed after 27 years.
Well, that is
great.
That's
a
huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what is your most favorite memory from when you started to now?
27 years in 2 seconds. Come on.
Yeah.
27 years into my most favorite memory.
Yeah. Something that stands out to you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have one favorite memory. I have a lot of, favorite stories and anecdotes, but I don't think I have one favorite.
Okay. So share maybe some of your favorite anecdotes or...
Antidotes?
Yeah. Anecdotes. Anecdotes.
I was flipping through. I used to have a show in the afternoon called Laxer Live, and I was just flipping through some of my old papers and stuff, and I was looking at some of my old schedules, and I looked at one and I went, Bill Burr live in studio. I had Bill Burr live in studio. I don't remember that.
Really?
I don't remember that at all. Because when the comedy festival comes through town.
Yeah.
Same thing with the jazz festival. We try and get as many of the stars on the air with us as we can. So I had Bill Burr in studio, apparently. Jimmy Carr as well.
Wow.
Kim Mitchell was a favorite.
Yeah, he's good.
He's incredible. He's an incredible, legendary musician. But he's also now a radio. Mind you, I don't know if he's still hosting
Q107 in Toronto.
He
was.
Yeah. Okay, good. So he came in and he brought his guitar. He didn't have to do this, but he played an acoustic version of Patio Lanterns.
Oh, that's such a
sitting there in the studio with me. James Blunt.
Nice.
You're beautiful. That guy. After we finished the interview, he said, "You're very easy to talk to," because that's how he talks. He's British.
He's British.
So that was kind of cool. Favorite memories of colleagues. One of the greatest men I'd ever known was the legendary Rod Dewar. Why is Rod Dewar legendary? Well, because he had a long career here in Canada and in London with the BBC, and his famous story is once being kicked off the air was after the War Measures Act was enacted, and he went on the air. And with all due respect to Rod's memory, I'm going to imitate him. He said something along the lines of, "I went to sleep in a democracy and I awoke in a police state." And he was on the air talking about this. Someone from the government called and said, "Get that guy off the air." So they had to get him off the air. And that sort of ended his career at the time, but he came back. So years later, he hosted a classical music show called Starlight Concerts. Mm-hmm. I happened to be filling in behind the glass around New Year's, and there was an open bottle of champagne in the studio. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, he called me Daniel. And he was holding this bottle, and he said, "Why, Daniel, someone left a bottle of champagne in here. It was opened."
Okay.
He said, "Someone left a bottle of champagne. Well, you and I should share it." So he poured us each a plastic glass of champagne, and he said, I don't remember why I'm telling this story, but he said, now, how did my father put it? Ah, yes, here is champagne for my real friends and real pain for my sham friends. Down the hatch. And
I love it.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
because I worked with a lot of really colorful people over the years. Working with Dave Fisher was, he was a radio god. And he just passed away several weeks ago. And so working with him was like going to broadcasting school. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to go back to what your question was: anecdotes, memories.
Yeah. Well, you gave quite.
You gave quite a few. That's like.
What are you saying? That's enough?
No, not even close. I could listen to this.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All day, right. All day.
No, but that is, you know what? The fact that you have those memories.
Yeah.
And you've built on them to create newer ones and never forgetting the older ones. It builds your character as a personality because you take it with you. And I think it goes with any domain in music and acting and radio, because let's face it, it's art, right? So, and that every part of what you do, every project, it sticks with you because it meant something. And that's how I consider it, especially in any form of art. And it always leaves an imprint. And it sort of improves us, I think, as time goes on.
Maybe it's entirely, I don't know. But you hit the nail on the head. It was the aforementioned Rod Dewar, who was a lifelong journalist, and he's the one who said to me he used to record these fantastic editorials for the radio, and he would write them out and edit them, and his papers were always full of red crossings out and stuff. And he said to me, "Well, I think of what we do is quite an art form. Don't you agree?" And I went, "Yeah, I guess." So there is that.
And I find it's very interesting that somebody, especially for yourself as a writer and a radio personality, that you can come up with things on the spot and you can be inspired to write things, because it's not easy. I mean, we do a show. And
quote unquote show,
quote unquote series.
It's a YouTube little series.
It's a YouTube series.
This counts.
Yes, but my point is what you put into it. It's very hard. Like you were talking about before, that you sit there and you sort of say, okay, I'm going to write a piece. It doesn't come instinctually or right away. You have to have a creative mind to do that. And
you have to do the work.
Exactly.
You can't just sit there and wait for the muse to come by and say, "Hi, you need an idea? I got a few."
Yeah, this is some lady in a shell, with a little pearl, with long flowing hair. It's like, I know what I'm going to write about. No, it actually takes time to manifest, to form, which leads me into my next question.
Please.
What unique skill would you say that you have that led you to become the successful writer, radio personality you are now?
Like, why are you asking me these
because
questions?
It's about you.
Why?
It's about you.
Man.
Who is Dan Laxer? What makes him tick?
I have no idea what. Well, a lot of the different things make me tick, but I have to metaphorically step back from a lot of the very kind things you've just said. I don't think I'm unique. As I say, I've worked over the years with a lot of legendary people, some of whom have retired and are still with us, some of whom are no longer with us. And these were people whose what's the expression? I'm not gonna get the expression properly. I sat at their feet or something like that. I'm talking about the Mark Rennies and the George Balkans of this world. And even some of the guys I listened to who did not work for the same company, or who do, like on some of the other stations. I'm friendly with Pete Merrier, and I used to listen to him and go, man, he's the greatest. I don't think of myself as unique. I don't even think of myself as all that talented. No, it's not false humility. This is all absolutely true. If you think about it, the people in the newsroom, they write all day. This is what they do. And they have to come up with an interesting way of saying the same thing several times. That's a very difficult job. Same sort of thing with the traffic reporters. How how many times and in how many different ways can you say Highway 15 is backed up to wherever Highway 15 gets backed up?
I thought they recorded it Monday. It was for the rest of the week.
It's funny that you should say that. It's another one of my favorite stories. Many years ago on show, it used to be Terry DeMonte with Peppermint Patty,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and she came in one day for a visit, and so he had her on the radio, and they went to traffic, and it was Catherine Wood at the time.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Terry went, it's whatever time it was, and with the traffic, here's Peppermint Patty. Think you could do it, Patty? And she says, oh man, well, what time is it? And he said, 8:23. And she improvised a traffic report.
Oh my God, that's
wow.
great.
And then Terry went, Catherine? And Catherine Wood said, yeah, she's bang on.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But because you have the experience. I know Esteban. Well, this is it's been a while since I've spoken to Esteban. And he used to do the traffic report as well. This is way back when on Shom.
A lot of us went through the traffic booth.
Traffic report.
Yeah. And then he became producer, I think. I think he's producer now on Shom.
Absolutely.
And I remember he was like, but every time I heard him, I'm like, I knew that guy. He sounded so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because you hear their voice on the radio and it's like, wow.
100%.
So-
Yeah, he went on to produce the show Morning Show. He made that show as a
Esteban?
producer. Yeah.
He had that radio voice too. And I'm like, you have
The
to
radio
have that.
voice, but skilled, talented.
Yeah, he was always
very quick with
Yeah.
with ideas. Yeah.
So how have all these guests left their mark or an imprint on you to be the radio announcer and the writer that you are? Have they contributed in any way?
That's another great question. I would say only in that by interviewing people, you get better at the skill of interviewing people. It's a bit scary from my point of view because I don't think of myself as I said earlier, reporter for the Suburban because I don't write a column. I do cover news stories, but I never thought of myself as a journalist or newsy in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Telling tales out of school here, but when they approached me at the Suburban, I let the editor know right off the bat in our first conversation, I'm not a reporter, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And he said, I know, and that's totally fine. But in a way, Gord St. Clair used to say that everybody who works here, no matter what they do, will be called upon at one point to be a reporter.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So you could be driving home one night and you see an accident and you call in, all of a sudden you're a reporter for that particular story. But again, I've been fortunate to be in positions where I've hosted shows and had to do interviews. Some of them for fun and entertainment, others for newsy. Is that an adverb?
Newsy.
Purposes. So you in the beginning, you go to your colleagues in the newsroom. You go to your colleagues who are also radio announcers. You say, I'm interviewing politician X today. Any questions you think that I should ask them, right? And when I did that in the early days, I'm thinking to myself, great, I'm going to come off as an idiot. I'm about to go ask this journalist what questions to ask, and he's going to think, doesn't this guy know what he's doing? But everybody does that, right? We all kind of, what are you going to ask the Prime Minister? Oh, what did you ask him? Maybe you should. And we compare notes. I wasn't comparing notes. I was looking for guidance. So I think that every interview I do, no matter who it is practice for the next one.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very noble because everybody is different. I find through each person you have a different experience.
Yeah.
Whether it be in sports or news or traffic, there's always a little element that you say, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to try that again because it worked.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then you build on that. And that I think is what gives you a reputation or, oh, Dan Laxer, yeah, I know he does this. Or, you know what I mean? Does the trivia show. He's a comedian. Oh, I know of him. Yeah. Oh my God, he's super funny.
Yeah.
So you leave.
Or you get the text that I got on the radio once. Who's that boring a-hole on the radio? Get him off the air.
Oh my God.
Do people actually do? Okay.
Absolutely.
That leads me into my next question.
No,
What
it
is
doesn't.
that? It does.
Okay.
What is the best moment you've had on radio and what is the least?
Wow, she's hard hitting tonight, man.
The best moment.
Yes. Let's say a memorable moment, something that made you feel happy?
Was it live? You mean live on the radio? Live on the radio?
Live, or maybe not necessarily live. Like you just said, you received a text. And what is the most uncomfortable moment that you've ever had?
About 3 minutes ago.
The most uncomfortable
and then
moment.
we'll go into our game.
There's a game?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, the most uncomfortable moment
is now.
I was just going to say, what time did this start? My God. That question is so daunting that I don't remember what it was.
Is there any moment that you felt, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened? That put you in a different mindset, let's say.
There have been moments when I finished a show and I come out of the booth and go, well, I guess I get to keep my job for another day.
Okay.
And that's always a good feeling.
That's a great feeling, yeah.
That's it.
But some people are going to be watching going, poor Dan. He's so down on himself. No, I'm really not. You speak to anybody, no matter what they do for a living, like a businessman who has to go in and do a presentation.
Yeah.
Ask him how he feels 2 minutes before the presentation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Musicians, comedians.
Well, I just want to chime in because I know you've touched on comedy and you've done comedy shows, and you were saying you don't really do much anymore of that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why, because I see it a mile away. I love just the aura being in the same room right now. You're making me laugh.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that is kind of part of my personality, whether I'm on the air or on a comedy stage, or maybe even in public. Like once I was kind of kibitzing with a lifeguard at a swimming pool.
Okay.
And a friend of mine was with me, and she said, "You're always on, aren't you?" And God, I hate how pathetic this is about to sound, but sometimes that helps to be in public.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I have social anxiety, but I have social anxiety. So I guess, maybe a lot of comedians and maybe a lot of radio hosts feel the same way.
They do.
I can do what I do because I'm saying this on camera, but I can do what I do easily because I'm not on camera. And when we finally had a website, because I go back to the days before the internet. When we finally had a website and they wanted all of us to have our pictures taken, I avoided it for as long as I possibly could. I didn't come to work that day, or I forgot to make the appointment with the photographer. I didn't know what Ralph Lockwood looked like until I met him that day at my dad's store, and I didn't need to know what he looked like. Mm-hmm. That wasn't what I loved about him. That's not what I loved about any of my radio heroes. Even with some of my favorite musicians, I didn't need to know what they looked like in order to love what they did. Yeah. So with comedy, Dave Fisher used to say to me all the time, he said, "I don't know how you do it." And I would say, I don't know how I do it either. But most comedians get nervous before they go on stage. Yeah. I had one friend who used to throw up before every comedy gig. Yeah. I get nervous after I'm finished.
Okay, I heard of that.
And
yes.
I don't know why.
It's an anxiety thing. You're coming down.
Absolutely. Like they'll introduce me, I'll jump on stage, I'll do my 4.5, 5 minutes, and then I will, no word of a lie, have trouble walking off the stage. Wow. And I'll have to hang on to a chair, go into the green room, and sit down.
Although I listen to a lot of podcasts, and you follow right down the best comedians in the world right now or whatever, they all have that same
trajectory,
vibe, that same anxiety.
Yeah.
Those same, it goes on. I mean, I listen to a lot of them because I love comedy. I would never touch it with a 10-foot pole because
that's good.
It is the hardest thing in the world. But you have it. I'm just letting you know from someone who's an outsider and that listens to a lot of comedians and comedy shows, you have it.
So I appreciate you saying that.
That's amazing.
To answer your earlier question, why I don't do it so much anymore, I guess I don't really have the fire in the belly for it. Mm-hmm. I enjoy doing it and it's fun. Yeah. When I do an open mic, if I ever get hired to do a paid professional show, it's a blast and a half. But unlike most professional comedians who they get out there, they do the work. Some comedians will do like 2-3 shows a night, especially if it's open mic night, and they have a show coming up. They'll go do an open mic. They'll go across town to a bar where they're having an open, and they'll just practice and practice and practice.
Yeah.
In fact, Tommy Tiernan, one of my favorite comedians, he was going on tour, and he came to Montreal and did a gig at the Comedy Nest. But that gig was a special one-time gig to practice for his tour. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, because he would stand there at the mic and go, throw out a setup and a punchline, and then stand there quietly, do the punchline a slightly different way. It was just as funny. And then he would go for like a minute or 2 or 3, and then stop and think. And I realized he's literally standing there writing.
Yeah. He's different intonations of the joke, different speeds, different way to...
Exactly. So for me, I realized I didn't have that. I didn't sit and do the work. I didn't seek out as many stages as I could find. And then, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And a lot of comedians were doing whatever they could to keep their chops up. They were doing online shows, without an audience, maybe in a park with a mic and a camera.
Yeah.
I did one online show. I hated it. And once all the clubs started opening up again, I started thinking, do I even really want to do this anymore?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So once in a while, someone will call up and say, Dan, can you come on the show? And I'll go, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll do it.
Gotcha.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Well, now that leads us into our game. We have a game.
Okay.
It's called Rapid Response.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Let me drink some coffee. How long do I have?
Is that really coffee?
Yeah, 5 seconds. Well, then again,
we say that every game.
We say that every
game. We have 5 seconds, but really, just split.
Well, it's like the slingshot on the trivia show, the last half hour.
Oh, really?
Where it's rapid fire questions. You call in. You have to see you get as many of them right as possible. You have to get 2 in a row correct to qualify, and then keep going. And it's supposed to be 3 seconds per question.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is we say 5 seconds, but really no.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, you can take your time, think about it. You can be as funny as you want.
I haven't finished my cookie. Can we take a break?
What we'll do is we'll have Lisa do the first one, so you see how. Although she wrote the questions, so I'm not crazy about this game.
Well, that's too bad, Vanny. You have to say them anyway.
But so she'll do the first one, and then after you'll see how she does, and you'll do the same thing.
So, both Lisa and I are going to try to answer that question.
She will answer it first, and then you'll answer it.
Yeah.
Means I get the time to.
And here we got
we
Sierra.
have a different question.
Yeah.
You have a different question.
We got Sierra asking the questions here.
Hello.
She talks.
I do? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Name 3 things you say to your animals.
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I knew that because I wrote the question. 3 things that I say to my animals. You're adorable. I love you. Hey, you.
Down boy.
Down boy. Yeah, that too.
That's 4
What are you
things.
sniffing?
Nice.
That was 5, but you get the gist.
Yeah, absolutely.
You run with it.
Do I get that question?
No.
Good, because I don't have any animals.
Oh my God! Did you?
What? Oh, well, now you have to ask it.
Yeah.
What is it?
You're gonna. Well, this is not really a question, but all right. I can't believe you wrote that, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
You got him panicking. So bad. Go.
I panicked on my way here. You don't understand. Do you know where we are?
Yes.
There isn't one Jew in the vicinity. Well, there is now. All right.
Actually, they own. It's all the owner here is Jewish, and he owns.
Yeah, but he's not here.
Yes.
He's
No.
in one of his blocks.
Okay.
So Dan,
Show us 3 different dance moves.
That's not a question.
Please.
5 seconds are up. Okay, I'll be totally honest.
Yeah.
I don't dance anymore.
It's okay. You can sit dance. Moves.
Well, the front seat shuffle, when you're driving, and the favorite song comes on that we were talking about, so you're doing the front seat shuffle.
I love it.
Yeah. right? Although with me it's different because I drive a stick, so I'm like pounding on everything, playing air drums. It's very difficult to drive stick because I can't play air guitar you have to. There's a wheel, but I'm saying you can't anyway.
I'm a drummer, so when I'm driving sometimes,
So
my right foot, the bass drum, if a song's playing, my car's going because I'm doing the bass drum pattern with my gas foot.
Well, no, your left hand is the bass drum, your right hand is the
No, my
snare.
right foot is the bass drum.
Yeah, but you're driving.
I know, but that's the problem. Is the car is moving because I'm
He's
using my
doing
bass
this.
drum.
So you're at a red light and you see a car jerking, you're like, that must be Steph.
You got it.
That's it. Clear the path.
All right, so I can't believe we actually got a dance move in there. Like that's awesome.
That was one though. You didn't do
No,
three.
that's
Just
awesome.
saying.
That's awesome.
Just
That would've-
saying.
I don't know 3 dance moves.
There's the running man sitting.
Yeah, no, I don't do the running man.
Oh
No?
my God.
See, because you
There's
have
the-
to like hip hop and stuff like that.
Oh.
I used to ballroom dance. I used to swing dance and do the tango, and I would meringue'd a couple of times.
Meringue.
Sweet.
That's great.
Yeah. That was in a different life.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, you got the next one.
Yeah.
I almost hit myself.
Wait, this is a question for Lisa?
Yeah.
Well then, I'll just drink my coffee.
Give us 3 different animal noises.
Ee-aw. Woof. Meow.
Okay, give us another 2.
Hee haw, woof, meow.
Bah.
That just happened. Okay.
I'm so glad it was Lisa.
Dan, this one's
They'll
for
give you
you.
that question too.
No!
This one's for you.
Name 3 things that get worse with age.
3 things that get worse with age. Dance music. 3 things that get worse with age. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Well, me. 3 things that get worse with age. 3 things that get worse with age.
Memory.
Memory. Memory. How many was that?
2.
Get it? See what I did there? Memory.
Nice segue.
Cream cheese.
Who?
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Oh. I thought you said that. I'm like, did you say cream cheese?
That's true.
Yeah. Can't believe it's not butter.
Lisa, go ahead, tell us.
Tell us 3 things you never leave home without.
I can't say money.
That's me every day.
My shoes, my purse, and my car.
You can leave your house without a car.
No,
Yeah, you can go for a walk.
I don't want to walk.
Well, technically, you do leave your house without your car every day, unless you park
Exactly.
inside.
You're right. He's got it.
Right?
That I don't leave without.
That was 3.
Yeah.
I
My
disqualify-
cell phone. Thanks, Alda.
I was going to say, the little boy in the back has a question.
You got it. That goes to show you how often my face is in the phone. Sierra,
What?
you live in there.
No.
We've
No.
got the last one for Dan.
Tell us 3 things you wear every day.
Well, underwear, a tank top, almost every day throughout the summer. Because I've been working from home for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't wear a tank top at work. but-
Still working from
You're
home?
still.
Yeah, they want us to go into the office a couple days a week, and I did that once, and I'd be like on my computer going, "There's nobody here. Why am I here?" What was the question? 3 things I wear every day. Jeans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I went to a funeral a couple of months ago. I didn't own a suit, so I had to buy a suit.
Oh.
I've worn nothing but jeans for the past
Oh no.
30 some odd years, every single day.
Lucky you.
Oh.
Unless I was wearing shorts in the summertime.
Lucky you. That's
Oh my
Yeah.
God. You know what? Now they're coming out with bell bottoms.
Oh, good.
Yay.
What? They're
You
coming
like
out with
jeans.
bell bottoms.
You like jeans.
Wait, let me grow an afro. What are they going to bring back next? Cigarette advertising? You've come a long way, baby.
It's a good Good thing I wasn't drinking my water because it would have come out of my nose
Be all over me. My new shirt.
with the dots.
I got this shirt,
It's a nice shirt.
in the
Yeah,
springtime.
I like it.
I don't wear any other shirts. I don't own any other shirts. Well, that's not true. I own other shirts, but I just sorry.
Don't want
Dan, we need to know where you're doing your next
Yes.
show.
How long is this? I'm having.
We're actually at the end.
well,
We
I'm starting to have fun. I want to.
Let's do another
Is this,
hour.
it's over?
Yeah, it is over.
Can we start again? I have better answers. No. This is the anxiety of a talk show, of a radio host. Once you're done, you're like, oh, I have a better question I should have asked.
Well, you know what? We'll give you some time. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's one of the questions or answers you want to change? I'm putting you on the spot
No,
even more.
can I have a look at the cheat sheet?
Favorite memory.
Well, looking back, I think that some of the questions were similar, and I think all my answers were the same. But geez, I interrupted somebody. Somebody was saying we were going to do something, and now I forget what it was. Do you guys remember? It's your podcast.
Oh yes, when
Yes.
when we can catch you somewhere.
Sunday morning, 9 to noon on CJAD 800 with the trivia show with me and Ken Connors.
That's done.
That was so well,
Right?
guys.
Sunday morning.
What? Were you going to be at church? Come on.
No. No, I wake up to CJD.
It's me. You can tell me.
It's true. So where can
I know Lisa's answer. To be honest, I don't listen to the radio anymore.
I didn't say that. I do.
Do
Most
you
people-
do you not listen to CJD for
Most people my age, like, oh, you work in radio. Yeah, I got satellite in the car. Can I swear now? I haven't sworn yet.
Yeah,
Let
go
it out.
ahead.
No, I'm
Rip.
kidding.
Let her rip.
Right? I'm kidding.
No, but where can people find you? Because I also read on your website
Yeah.
that you also are hired to write.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can find you if they're interested in having you write something for them.
I forgot I had a website. And that's absolutely 100% true. But yes, there was a time when I tried to, I wanted to market myself as a freelance writer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I shouldn't be saying in a podcast. But in as much as I have certain things I'm good at, I'm not a businessman. So like I wake up one day, yeah, I'm gonna be a freelance writer. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get customers. Sorry, they call them clients. I'm gonna get clients, and I'm gonna make extra money as a freelance writer. How do you do that?
How do you get
How do
clients?
you get
So yeah, exactly. So it's danlaxer.com. I have a blog, but I haven't written anything new in the blog for a long time because I haven't had the time. I'm all over social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter because Twitter's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Twitter is the underbelly of humanity. It's every once in a while I read Twitter and I'm like, okay, America, could you give the rest of us a chance? But then I see a lot of Canadians who are like, what are they?
Yeah, exactly. What is that?
I got you.
Yeah,
They're called tweets.
yeah.
Whatever.
The twits are tweeting.
We
I'm all over Facebook, and I try as much as possible to have fun
Yes.
on Facebook because it's a playground for me.
Yeah.
But you're still going to get people mad at you. Like
Oh.
I could post later on that I had a delicious S cookie,
Yep.
and someone's going to write back and say, "Well, I bet you the CAC won't like S cookies if you call them S cookies. They have to be Biscuit S." And I'm like, and I'm going to say, "Yeah, I didn't say anything about the CAC. I just wrote about the cookies."
like
Yeah,
cookies.
exactly. So
Cookies.
right.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
It annoyed me about. I know you want to wrap up. I'm just
No,
gonna.
go ahead. Oh my
There's a
God.
lot of caffeine in this
No,
coffee.
Go ahead.
It was the same thing with Trump. Like I could post something about, I don't know, a dog, and someone in the thread would say a Trump joke.
Trump.
Yeah.
And first I would give them crap to let them know that I'm unhappy. I don't like Trump jokes on my page. Then I would delete it. I would actually delete it.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, he's not president anymore. We don't have to talk or think about him. They do south of the border. That's their deal.
Yep.
We don't have to
Yeah.
anymore. We're Canadian.
I saw a store. I was in the States this summer, and there was
Is this a Trump story?
a Trump store.
Oh, Trump store.
Stump store.
Like the store is
I just said
called
stump store.
Donald Trump, and you walk in and it's all Donald Trump stuff.
Like T-shirts and shit?
cups, mugs,
Like the Disney store, but Trump.
like the Disney
Yeah.
store, but the Trump store. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
God.
bobbleheads and all of that stuff.
What?
Interesting.
Oh yeah, so we walked into my work that had like a Trump 2024 shirt.
Yeah.
2024. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's running again, I heard.
Oh my God. Anyways, let's change that topic.
Awkward.
So, okay, Dan.
Dan looks confused.
Let's talk about porn.
So,
Oh, now you're going to get Vanny chiming in.
Instead of, you know,
How about those 3 dances?
right?
my friend actually sent me a picture. This is funny. He sent me a picture of he's in Europe and he met one of the most famous porn stars in Europe.
Oh my God.
Rocco Siffredi. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. You can be an actor,
Yeah.
and you can struggle your whole life as an actor. Maybe get a big name film.
Yeah.
Maybe you become a star, and all your films are big. You get Oscar, etc. But not everybody is a star.
Yeah.
Most actors are actors.
Yeah,
Auf zu Luchas, you do one porn film, you're a porn star. How does that work?
it's true.
Is there like a walk of
They
fame?
get the star right away after.
You know?
Yeah, I would like to change.org.
Well, the performance was probably Oscar worthy. I don't know.
Well, who's Oscar? Is he a porn star? If there is a porn walk of fame, what are they imprinting?
True. It's true. Size? What's the signature?
And you're like, Dan, my daughter's in the room.
Does she look worried? Look at her, she's laughing.
That's awesome.
So I'd like to thank you so much, Dan, for coming on the show.
It's been my pleasure.
No, there's no pressure.
sorry.
Sorry.
Happiness.
How often are you do you write for the
I
Suburban?
thought you were going to ask him a
No, I
boring
wanted
question.
people
How
to know.
often?
Well, the Suburban comes out every Wednesday. Depending on the stories, they might post them live on the website right away, thesuburban.com. But each print edition comes out on Wednesdays.
And you have.
Oh, nice.
I cover
Yeah,
the West
copy.
Island.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting to know. So, guys, the West Island, read Dan writes. Yes.
Hopefully, you're a lot more articulate than that. Hi, Dan Wright. You read. You read word. More than one word. Words.
That's why we say it slowly. It's like so much, Dan. Oh my God, you're like a hoot.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
We could do a second one.
We can do a second one. You want to come
Let's do
back?
it right now. Just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. You're going to be like, why does he always wear the same shirt?
He said it before. He wears the same time.
I only have I have 6 of these.
Love it.
It's
Because if they get dirty,
Right.
Right.
You gotta be.
you can wear them for at least 12 days, right? Inside out, that's 2 days.
Oh my God, thanks so much, Dan. It was
My
awesome.
pleasure.
It's awesome.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille. Prego.
Yeah.
But I hope you. He's like, yeah. I really hope you come back on though when Francesca's here.
Okay.
I'll probably ask
absolutely.
you to come back on with Francesca. So
Why
you'll
isn't
have-
Francesca here? Can we
She's
talk
in
about
Italy.
this?
she's in
I'm
Italy?
jealous.
She's in Italy.
She's actually from Italy.
Rome. Yeah.
She's from Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's been here for 5 years, I think.
very
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Something like that.
So when she's here, it gets a lot rowdier.
Okay.
It's a group.
Yeah. And you're
I
in the
love it.
middle.
You're in the
So,
middle of 2 women.
Do I get a chance to talk when she's here?
Yes, you
There's
do.
another porn movie. See,
There you
could
go.
become a porn star. I don't know what.
On second thought.
We'll be gentle.
Okay.
So thanks a lot, Dan, and I'd
My
like to
pleasure.
thank our.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, it was awesome! I'm so happy that you actually came on. It was nice.
It's not like I was doing anything else.
Well, I saw you on Facebook and I was liking your pictures. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. What's Dan up to? Right?
You're making me laugh because I once gave my nephew my phone to play with.
Yeah.
And he I said, you want to see pictures of your family? And he said, yeah. So I went to my Facebook and I showed him where to find the pictures.
Yeah.
And after a few minutes, he says to me, I think he was 4 at the time. He said to me, how come you only have pictures of yourself?
Oh my God, he's so cute. I love it. And they speak the truth, eh?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. So once again, I hope you come back on because this
I
was
will.
a
I
real
promise you.
treat.
This was a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you had fun because this was something that I saw you and I was like, oh my God, Dan, that would be awesome. So thank you so much. And I'd also like to thank our sponsors once again because without them, we can't really do this. Okay. So once again, thank you to Anthony Caltagirone from Royal LePage Classic, residential real estate broker. If you guys want to buy a house, sell your house, he is your go-to. 514-654-4907. And also DNG Catering, Traiteur DNG. Amazing menus. They cater to your every need in terms of your food. If you want just appetizer, main meals, give them a call. They'll definitely treat you very, very well. 450-975-2626. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Dan. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Aldo. Thank you for the cell phone. So, guys, have a great night. Take care and see you soon.